I'm so glad to see everybody's faces on here. So, this time is for you guys to ask questions about the training that you've learned this week. And if you haven't really gotten into the trainings, they're all set up for you. And that was our purpose, was this to be an interactive training for our new coaches, our coaches that maybe have fallen off, that need to get back. But this whole first week was how you guys should be starting off your business. So the vital behaviors, your training videos that are in the back office and in the training group, what exactly Success Club is, what Success Starters is. Yes, can I help you? Oh, you're just staring at Lori? Okay, Devin's not here. And then, of course, Emerald and why, like, that is a complete decision, and everybody could have woken up on Thursday as an Emerald coach, or by next Thursday. So our goal for you guys in the next 2 weeks is to hit Success Club and to hit Emerald. So I'm going to open up the floor. Lori, Morgan, whatever you guys want to say, or if, what questions you guys have, this is where this is, what this is for. And don't worry about social media. Don't worry about the fluff. That's what we're going to go into like next week. Kelsey, I love your shirt. It's awesome, and every teacher needs that. But honestly, diving into everything, no. I'm on a call, and if you can't listen, then you're not going to get on your call. Thank you. So whatever you guys need from us, that is what this next hour is for. Let's see, thanks. Oh, see, you just need that, you need to put that up and make it for everybody. Let's see, I'm actually gonna start with Courtney. Can you get off your mute, and can you get on and chat really fast? Courtney's at Success Club 10 and has been a coach, you guys, for under a month. And I was gonna actually just kind of ask her, like, how did you start? Where did you start? And, you know, what did you step out of fear-wise, and just kind of roll with it? I mean, she's a Weight Watcher. She's hardcore Weight Watchers. And so she's transitioned over into Beachbody. How did you start, like, the inviting process, and who did you start inviting with this whole transition?
Okay, well, I actually found it a lot easier to invite strangers when I started. But recently I've started inviting people that I know, like, in the real world, and I've actually seen a lot of success with that. So my advice is, if you're nervous about inviting people that you actually know, don't be.
Awesome. Let's see, who else has had success this month and even just this week with their invites? Anybody? Kelsey, go. I know that you've had an invite. I saw it.
I have somebody that joined as like a customer on, let's see, it was like March 23rd. Okay, so like 3 days after I became a coach. And he actually messaged me, and he's like, I know that my auto ship or whatever is coming up again this month soon, and I'm thinking about like ordering more things, and like, what are my options? And so I kind of just started talking to him about, like, well, if you really wanted to, you could do a challenge pack again, and you could do everything and get it for a discount, and then you can continue to have the discount, because I know that he's like really loving his results already. And it worked. So he's, as of today, was gonna call me in about like an hour or two from now, and he wants me to get him lined up as a coach, which I don't know how to do yet. And my coach is going to help me with that.
And see, that's, how many of you guys have challengers that you're nervous about, or not even challengers, people that you're nervous about that are watching you already? Like, honestly, how many people are watching you through your journey already, and you're nervous about inviting? Why are you nervous about inviting them? No? Danielle?
Hey, Heather, I'll
Yeah.
talk about that for a minute.
Go
Okay.
for it.
So, because this is my 3rd year coaching. If you guys don't know me, this month is my 3rd. And hold on, my Panera is coming. So with that, yes, Morgan.
Oh, okay. So yeah, we don't have to solve the cash out.
We didn't know you were here. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
There's a thing on the app where you can acknowledge that we're here, and it'll ding us down
Okay.
there and like let us know. That's why it took so long. I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
I saw you.
I
were
wasn't
like,
using the app. I ordered online. But that's
Oh.
okay. Thank you.
Okay, I'm sorry about that.
Sorry. So don't sit outside Panera, guys, for 10 minutes. It's actually like 30. So anyways, I'm going to drive and talk to you guys. So the thing that changed, I think, for me this month, because it's been my most successful month, is I moved past my fear of what people were going to think about me when I asked them. So Eva's on here. I've known Eva for a decade. I've asked her in the past to join me. She declined. And then I just kind of kept asking, and I kept doing me. So which means I just kept showing up. And then what I did going into this month is I just said, okay, I'm just going to just send out messages, and I'm going to stop worrying about what the response is going to be. And so a lot of times I would send the message, and then I would kind of check back to see if they read it and to see if they were going to answer. And I was wasting a lot of time on that. So instead I just focused on sending. And then when somebody responded back to me, or at least I saw when I would do my routine, like every other day check to see if they read it, I would respond back again, just checking back to see if you got my information, if you had any questions. But I just took the emotion out of it. And I think for me, what it's been is this fear. One, I have imposter syndrome very badly. So I worry about not being exactly what somebody needs or being the expert they need. And then for two, the fear of rejection by people, right? So shame comes in. And I worry that if they don't want to do this with me, that will somehow impact our relationship in another way. I don't do well with strangers. I have not cracked that nut with social media, and really I connected with a few people through social media, but every single person that's joined me this month, I know in real life. So I had to really get past worrying about my other relationship with them crumbling based on their response to this. And so I think for me, it came down to realizing that my relationships with them were strong enough to withstand whatever that response was going to be. And they may not join me, but they would still continue to support me because they're the same people who've been watching me for 3 years. So that's what worked for me, was just taking the emotional part out of it and taking that fear of rejection out of it.
So I'm going to jump in and piggyback off of that. And that is one thing I think that I was okay with starting this out, was remembering that the opinions of others were never going to pay my bills. They were never going to create my success. And I was never going to get where I was going if I was so worried about what they think. I am, like what Morgan talked about, I'm a habitual, like I'm a people pleaser. I'm constantly feeling like I'm not doing enough, not giving enough. However, I don't care if you don't like what I'm doing, if that's what's working for me to pay my bills, to grow my business, to do all of these things. So it's a difference between, I struggle hardly with what people think of me that are that have expectations from me, like that I'm responsible for. So my customers, my clients, people that I work with, like I feel like I don't give enough. But if I'm trying to help you and you don't want my help, this little phrase right here changed my entire business. You need me more than I need you. And if you don't want to join me, that's okay. There's somebody that does, and I'm going to answer that prayer just like I had prayed for like a door to open in my life, for that sign, I need this way out. I'm going to do that for the person that needs it. And if it's not you, that's cool. And if you don't like me for it, that's fine, because you're going to pay my bills and I don't really care. And once you can get that tough skin to think, so what? It makes everything so much easier. Also, if you can go into this with the expectation that everybody's not going to be interested, you're not going to get let down. You're not going to get hurt. Your feelings won't be like, oh my God, they said no, because you're expecting everyone to say no, because you're not needing to help everyone. You're here to help someone. So when you can retrain your mind to constantly think that it's okay, I don't need you, but you do need me. You just don't know it yet. And that's the mentality you have to have in order to get that tough skin and not worry about it. And I was one of those that was very afraid to make videos. Like it took me making those voice overrides on Snapchat to start making an actual video. And now I rip that Band-Aid off. And if y'all follow my stories, I talk a lot. Like I think they cut down on the 10-story thing because of me, because they're like, girl, cut it down. So just want to remind you guys, it's, you don't need to have the approval, have the recruitment of everyone. You're trying to get your specific person that's wanting you and needing your help. So that's where we want you to kind of keep this in mind in the beginning. And right now your focus, like I was talking to someone yesterday, and she was really struggling with reaching out and making connections and not seeing the commitment side. And so what I also want to remind you is that it's a lot of reaping and sowing. It's like a farmer planting a harvest. You're going to plant a ton of seeds, but sometimes it can take months, it could take years for that to harvest. And you're going to have some people that will immediately sign up. You're going to see instant, like certain flowers, you're going to immediately bloom and you're going to get to see the rewards. But for other things, it's going to take time. So what you're doing right now, as long as you're being consistent in these behaviors that we're trying to show you and that we're going to give you, you're going to see the success. But it's like a rowboat. If you stop rowing, you're going to have to pick it back up and start all over. And it's going to be like that. And that is the only superpower that I feel like I have in my business, is I'm so freaking consistent with showing up and talking to people every single day. Now, I take days off. Like, I don't post some days, but I'm always on my stories. I'm always talking, I'm always connecting, because I enjoy that. And so that's going to be you really have to look at this like you are building a social media business. That's just the way that the world works right now. If you want to see quicker success. Now, there are people that still are doing it face-to-face. They're still having that success that way. But ultimately, depending on what your goals are, you're going to have to just get over that and know, if you want to build a successful online business, you're going to have to be online and talk to people and help grow. So next week, like, I'm really excited to really go through some social media stuff with you guys. And I'm gonna tell you all this. I paid for a Instagram training from a super successful blogger yesterday. I was like, I could have done the training better myself. I don't think you guys realize that what we teach you is exactly what these bloggers with like hundreds of thousands of followers are charging people to teach them. I'm like, we even go into more details. So I had a moment where I was like, stop doubting yourself. We know everything we need to know, but where we are doubtful is what people will think, or what the outcome is going to be, or that we're not doing the best. So you doing something is better than nothing. So talking to people, reaching out, connecting, like, I'm really excited about the social media stuff next week and getting you guys going on that. And so we try to just give you kind of the basics up front. We go back and forth with these trainings on like, what's the most important? What value should we give you first? Sometimes we want you to understand your goal is to get emerald. Your goal is to get diamond, because really the ultimate goal is to get you to 2-star. That is where the real growth from your business comes from. Emerald's cool, diamond's cool. It's like, yay. But really the cool thing is getting to 2-star. That is where you have 2 diamonds underneath you. That is where you start to see the real income growth. That's where you start to see the real leadership and the real success, because it means you have at least one other person that's probably running with you. One of them might be your spouse account, but your goal is to get at least somebody doing this with you. But you have to be talking about the business. You have to be getting results like it is your freaking job right now. And I know that I struggle with that myself. Like last night, I'm sitting there talking myself off the ledge, like, you don't need to eat that. But I find in the hardest times and when it's the most stressful, it is our job to show people that you can still get results, that you can control the controllable, which is us. And if you have never felt accountable for yourself, this is the time to feel the most accountable, because even if you're not seeing success in your business, if you can see success with your results, you will, once that time is right, it'll change everything for you. It'll change your business, because people say, she showed up in the hardest times. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you still need to show up and be committed and get results to show people it is possible, that they can do it too. And that's why we always tell you to lean in when you're struggling. I find that I have the most connections, the most relationship building, the most people sign up when I share something that's hard that I'm going through. When I share something that's vulnerable, when I share something that is something I'm struggling with, because people connect to emotions. I'm not trying to what's the word? Convince someone to join me. Like, you should trust me and then just trust that I'm telling you it's going to work. Like, that's my goal. I don't want to convince you that you need to do this workout. You should already feel like you need to do it because you already trust me and you've already seen the proof of the product's working. So I think that if you can just keep all of that in check and in mind, you might see a huge difference in what's going on. But don't feel like you have to hold yourself back. Don't feel like the quirks, don't feel like you're going to be in something alone. I've talked to a lot of people lately that are dealing with certain situations and they're just afraid to talk about it. But the fear is more of what are people going to think of them by sharing this? Not so much of how is this going to affect me, but how are they going to think of me? But what about the person that's on the other end feeling like they're alone because nobody else has ever shared about that? And they could connect to you on an emotional level to say, wow, you are a real person. I really do connect with you. And then that's where the trust gets built from. And for them to say, okay, no matter what you're trying to sell me or tell me to do, I'm going to do it. So I'm just going to say, there's a quote, and I've actually been considering reaching out to, his name is Josh Coates. He is amazing. And I was going to work with him a long time ago, but I didn't think it was the right time for us, but I'm actually thinking about reaching back out, because he kind of has this little quote that says, about making you puke. Like, if you're about to do something and it makes you feel sick, that's what you need to do. If you're about to make that post to say, I'm actually a coach, I'm here to build a business, I want to help other people get results, but you feel sick to your stomach, you need to post that. If you're going to like make a story or put a picture up or whatever it is, that's fear. And once you start getting over that fear, that is when you start to see the success from it. Now, obviously, if it's something about, a painful situation that can hurt, really, truly put a person in a bad situation, you don't want to always talk about those. But for the most part, most of the things that we're afraid of really is nothing. So you do the things that make you puke. Do the things that make you want to shake and start sweating when you're about to hit that post button. And what you do is you tell us you're about to do that and that you need some love and support. And then you know what happens is you have like your girl gang that is about to go through your post and be like, oh my God, you're so amazing. And it doesn't matter that your followers don't know who we are. Like, we know who you are and we're just there to support you. And then they're going to, do you see what I'm saying? So if you're scared about doing something, let us know ahead of time, post it and say, hey, I just posted this. Can y'all show me some love? I'm freaking out right now. And you would be surprised the outpour of people that will come to your page to love on you and support you. So I know I go off on a lot of different tangents, but I feel like everything is so intertwined together, but ultimately it comes back to, you've got to get over yourself. You've got to get over the fear. You've got to do the hard things. You've got to be committed to yourself and to your results. And you've got to treat this like it is a job, because right now it is. And the more you lean into this business right now, the more success you will also have once we get through this whole quarantine issue. Like, me hearing I'm not motivated is like, I want to throat chop you and shake you a little bit, because that is the most selfish thing right now that I've heard is I'm not motivated. Like, I'm not motivated. But what's going to happen if somebody's needing me to show up because they don't understand, because they don't do that personal development yet to say, okay, it's not about motivation. It's about being committed. It's about being determined. You have to show that to them. That is now our job. That is why personal development is so big. Not everybody does it. They think it's a joke. So if you're not doing it, you need to do it. And then our job at the end of this is to help you see growth. It's to help you see income. It's to help you get that vision that you are putting out there and sharing with everyone of why you're working so hard at this, actually see it happen. Like, that is my goal. I want you guys to be so massively successful that you don't even need my help or want it. Like, that you don't care about what Heather and I are doing, that you're going to be, who cares if Morgan's about to leave in 6 months and she's determined to be successful? You're about to do it on your own. And it hurts my feelings that you wouldn't want to be a part of it. But the point is, like, we want you to be so successful that you're teaching us. Do you see what I'm saying? And that is what the goal of all this is. So we normally do like a true coach kickoff where we kind of walk you through, okay, what does it mean to be a coach? How do we post on social media? Making sure you just, showing up and you're sharing, being a proof the products work, you're all those things. But we've kind of gone over a lot of that this week. So our goal, like I want to make sure that you guys are kind of going into this next week, understanding the social media, understanding the value of Success Club. Like I hope you went through the post of what it means to earn Success Club, being a success starter, about going Emerald, why it's important, so that you can use that as a foundation for you for the weeks ahead. So next week, we're going to really talk about how to use your social media and grow it, how to really connect with people. And I know that you guys aren't comfortable, some of you said, with talking to strangers, but if you put in your mind that every person that you're talking to is already your best friend, it makes it so much easier. When you're on social media, I get so uncomfortable talking face to face, but I will talk to every single person that's on the gram like you. We are best friends. You just don't know it yet. And I treat every single person, I talk to every single person that way. And if you do that, like it changes your whole conversation because you're just like already giving them that love and they feel it. You know, when you type with a smile, people feel the smile. So that's what our goal is for you for next week, is to really understand how to build and grow on that. And you're going to be doing it over and over and over and over, like for the rest of the business. Like this is how you grow. It's just ultimately down to the relationship piece. And then we want to make sure that if you are a new coach, especially, that you earn Success Club this month. We want you to be able to qualify for that Success Starter program. It is so huge for your business and getting it jump started. And I didn't get what any of that was. All I knew is I had to help 3 people get started. And ultimately, I had to help 5 because I wanted this free trip. I didn't really get how it worked, but I knew if I helped 5 people a month, I'd basically get a free trip. So that worked for me. That's all you had to tell me. Like, I want you guys on the trip. They are amazing. And since we're missing out on the trip this year, this would have been my 8th trip. 7th. I don't remember, but it's a lot. And they've all been free. And it's been like, what? Next year's is going to be freaking amazing. And you can all go on it. And we want you there. And we want you to feel good being there. So what other questions do we have?
Courtney had a question, Lori. It was in the group, and it was just how turning connections, how do you make them from going from a conversation into inviting them without making it sound salesy? Like if we are connecting with them on something other than health and fitness, how do you kind of turn that conversation into asking them to come jump into your group?
Okay, so I know that we train a lot about, or some people do, about the cold messages, but I feel like if I've already started a conversation with someone, it's not so much cold anymore. It's like lukewarm. We're warming up, you know? But what I do is I make it casual. Like I make jokes out of it. So if we're having a conversation, and lately it's been about the dog, and then a lot of times it'll get brought up naturally. If you are showing up and showing, hey, this is how I'm doing my workouts, this is how you access it, these are my shakes, you can join me every day. You guys should be at the end of your workouts. You can join me too. Swipe up or like DM me if you're ready to, or go to the link in my bio or whatever it is that you have set up every single day. Remind people you don't have to do this alone. You can do it in a different way every day, but every single day, inviting people. When you get off a business call, every time be like, ready to join our girl gang, or like you could be part of this, you could sit with us. It could be something just a Jeff, but letting people know, like see my see my link in my bio if you want more info, like always. But during those conversations, so like if someone ever says to you, like they're going to ask about, maybe sharing about a cooking recipe with an air fryer. And they're like, oh my gosh, I should get that. They're so pricey, blah, blah, blah. And you could always turn around and be like, well, girl, maybe you should join in my coaching group and, you know, we can help you how to bring in some little extra income. Like if nothing else, at least it could pay for all those fun things around the house. Like maybe you want to eat healthy anyways. Maybe you want the community anyways. But if you're kind of making a joke out of it and making it like, have you ever considered, then it doesn't feel so pressured, like a formal invitation, but it's just like, hey, you see me doing this every day. Why don't you do it with me? And that's literally what I do every day. And I think Wendy, that's how she and I got started back on the conversation of why don't you just sign back up? Because I knew she was a coach before. And I think I just made a joke out of it. So she said something. I'm like, well, why don't you just join my team? And it kind of just turned into a conversation like that. So there are so many different ways, because it really is going to depend on how you guys have been talking. But if it's truly a stranger, and it's just been like you're interacting on each other's posts or comments, then what you can do is after a while of the conversating, even if they don't respond, you're still loving on them, like through their stories, you're still responding to things, you're still commenting, liking, because people remember faces, the little circles, they remember those and they'll remember your name. You can say, hey girl, I know this may not be something you're interested in, but I'm starting a new group and I just figured I'd reach out to see if that's something you like. I don't want to pretend I know what's going on in everybody's life, but if you're looking for some accountability, some community, maybe some extra support, I'm starting this group up and I feel like we're friends already and thought it would be a great opportunity for you to join in if it's something you'd like. If not, if you have anybody that might be interested, please feel free to send them my way to join in. I've had a bunch of people that have, really said that they need this extra accountability, and I know I do too. Who cares if you had nobody? They don't know that. Just say a bunch. It's fine. But just something that simple. Like, does that feel yucky? Like, I wouldn't think it feels gross that way. But what I hate is when you send me like a giant paragraph of information and tell me everything that I need to go do and buy, which I did. I did all of that before. Because then I don't want any part of it. So it's kind of like the more casual you can keep it, the more friendly you can make it. Like, how would you talk to your like dearest friend, and say, hey, join in this group, like quit making excuses. And just talking to people that way, like they appreciate it and they like it because they feel like you guys are really friends. And that's what your goal is to become like connected with all people. So Courtney said, literally no one answers when you do a call to action. Who else knows that? Does anybody else know that? I didn't know that. I bet your followers don't know that. So don't even worry about it. I can't tell you how many, when I started, this is really funny. Okay, when I started, I used to be like, oh my God, my group was so crazy, closed it up, and I'm about to reopen a new one because I had nobody and I was restarting it. Nobody knew. They just were like, dang, I missed on that first one. Okay, let me get on the next one. But then what happens is the more that you keep doing that, they'll eventually start to be like, okay, I'm going to join this time. But you can also do it to where you're like, okay, once a month, we're getting it started. Don't miss out. You have 3 days left to give them the FOMO. But to me, like, I don't want someone to not connect with me because they think I've closed it off and now they can't join. Because I would have been the person to not reach out because I thought I missed it. So every day I'm like, you can join anytime. We have a 365 group. I'll plug you in. We'll get you going. You don't need a Monday. You just need to start. So.
Okay, I'm gonna piggyback off of that, you guys. If they're watching your stories, it gives you permission to reach out to them. They are watching your stories. And so every single day, what I do is I'll take like one of my stories kind of like after my workout and I'll swipe up and I'll look at all the views. And if I haven't connected with that person, I connect with them. And if I've connected with them and they consistently are like watching me day in and day out, I am all up in their inbox. How was your week? Have you taken time out for yourself? I know things are crazy right now. You can go into a health and wellness conversation without going into join my boot camp. A lot of the people that I am like really talking with right now struggle with Hashimoto's or struggling with like a lot of fatigue and anxiety. And so I'm literally just like going in and how are you doing right now? Like, I know that you've got kids like crazy busy around the house. I know that you're working a lot. Like, have you taken 20 minutes for yourself? And what that allows them to do is come back and tell you, now, I don't even know what that is. I don't even know how to do that. So turn it back on them with a question that's going to make them come back to you and talk to you about their journey thus far.
And with what Heather's saying with going back and looking at your stories, when you're on your Instagram, and I'm sure we'll talk about this with social media next week more, you want to make sure that they're archiving. So I did not do this in the beginning. I did not know that was a thing. But then that way, your story disappears. And so you only have so long to go back and look at those people. But when I do a lot of polls or questions, I can go back because it's archived and review that at any time and continue to build my list from that. I don't often post the answers I get in questions because there are a lot of bots on Instagram. And so I don't want all the bot answers to come up too. But I go back and I reach back personally and thank those people for answering. Like I asked about whether I should get a trampoline yesterday. So I was sure to connect back to everybody who answered that question for me because that's a connection and that's a genuine connection that has nothing to do with fitness, but it's a relationship. And that's what people need right now are just relationships with others because a lot of people are not getting that on a daily basis. Oh, and own your success with what Lori was saying. That imposter syndrome thing that I had, and that's another thing where I had to learn to grow. Own your success before it's happened, because you're putting out into the universe the fact that you are going to be successful. So own it. And if you are a brand new coach, own it like you're already a diamond, or if you're a diamond or whatever, own it like you're a 5-star, and talk about it that way, and your confidence will build. And even if you maybe internally don't feel confident, people are going to see that, and that's what's going to attract people to come do this with you.
And I'll just piggyback off that too, because one of the things that I've been doing is going back and going through all of the people. So I typically message the people who follow me every month, or who watch my stories every month. That's pretty much who I get a lot of my leads from, and build a lot of those relationships. But then I've also been going back to and doing just like what I'm calling my word of encouragement thing, and it's in the group. I posted it somewhere, I think. But I get a lot of traction off of that right now, because it's just little positive, quick things that people can do that they don't think about to help them in this situation. Because if they follow me, they know I can't leave, and I'm not leaving my house. And so they're watching that every day. And so it's just little things that I'm doing to help make sure I'm staying sane that they could potentially do. And I'm also asking them questions. And so as something that I'm sure Morgan can tell you this too, but as a counselor, like open-ended questions and asking them questions all of the time will keep the conversation going. People like to talk. People like to talk about themselves. And so just keeping conversation going will allow you to build that relationship. And you can, divulge both ways, tell them things about you, because they're also buying you. So they need to know about you, but don't make it about you, and ask them questions. I think is something that's super important. And then going back and looking at people who are watching your stories. I actually went through today, and I scrolled all the way down to the bottom of the people who I follow. So not necessarily people who follow me, but people I follow. And I started like unfollowing people who have never posted anything, because they're not doing anything. And then I also started going in and just what Heather calls like love bombing them, and like just tapping the crap out of their posts, and then going back through and ended up and like watching their stories and like making some connections while my computer was being weird this morning for work. But I think I ended up getting 2 or 3 followers, because there were people who I were following, who I was watching, but weren't watching me. And so by doing that, I got new eyes, and hopefully fresh eyes on my page too, of people who I'm already kind of invested with, if that makes sense.
One thing I was going to say too, I forgot. What were you saying before you started going through your followers?
Me?
Yeah.
I was talking about posts, looking at my posts and who likes them, I think.
I had something. I'll share it in a second.
How many of you guys are utilizing your upline? Go ahead, Lori.
Okay, so quick. If you are not doing the power hours, you guys, do those. They're so good. They're giving you actionable items to do to grow and build relationships. They're giving you scripts. They're giving you, and most of these they're recorded, but it's kind of hard for me to always keep up and repost. And I need to go through our coach group and like delete out all of those like daily reminders. But every day, same time, 8 a.m., 12 p.m., and what is it? It's either 6 or 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. But there's a thing in the announcement section. They're now being recorded. We're making like a little chart so you can go back in. So if you just have an hour a day, like pick on one of the recordings. They are so good, but it'll tell you step by step of how to do these things. So definitely try to add that in as you can. Don't feel like you have to do all of them, but the ones that you can do. And then when she was talking about the success, you don't have to be successful to share the success. You are part of a incredibly successful team. And I feel really weird, like hyping myself up. But when I was talking to someone the other day, they're like, why do you downplay everything that you do? You guys, we are a 7-time elite team. We've been in the top 0.001% of the company. Not only have we been the number 3 team, but I am considered a superstar diamond. And while I'm not that right currently, like we have done that. And some people can't even do that. Like we have Heather, who is a premier coach. She's in the top 0.1% of the company. Like, and we have tons of other people who are in that same top 1%. So it's like we have all of the tools to get there. But what we don't have is the belief and the confidence. Like, we see it in you because we're here investing in you, but we need you to see it in you. So you can share, I just got started. I don't have any success. Man, my coach is successful, and her coach is successful, and her coach is like, you know, winning all these leadership awards. And Danielle, my coach, she's a double superstar, top 10, two-time top 10, leadership winning, like all the things, right? And then her coach is the same thing. So you come from essentially like a royalty downline that you're all little princesses. And I just think it's kind of like, you know, fitting that we use the crown because that's who you are. Like, claim that shit, use that, like, talk about it. I had no success, and I used to talk about Danielle's all the time. I'm not there yet, but I need some girls that want to lock arms and do it with me because I'm trying to make some money. I'm trying to be successful. I'm trying to help people. And I want some other girls that want to do it too. I found posts like that the other day, and I was just like, dang, I said that? That's kind of smart. So do that. Like, milk every little bit of your team that you can, and use it and share your vision of why you want it though. Make sure you put in there why you're working so hard, why this is so important to you. But yeah, I forgot the point of that. But use that to build up your own success and where you're going, and bring people along the journey with that.
Can I add something real quick to that? It sort of piggybacks off, especially when you're talking about Danielle. So I would say two things. I don't care if you have to write it down and keep it in front of you, but focus on your wins. So a lot of people tend to focus on, they ghosted me, they ignored me, they said no, they said blah, 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 blah. I don't care if one person said yes. Like, I was having this conversation with Chantel last night. Like, she already has, in her first like 12 hours of coaching, she got 2 people to get challenge packs, but she had 5 people sign up for the free trial, the 14-day trial. And she was like, well, they haven't bought anything. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. Like, you're helping 5 people. The more people you offer that service to, and that trust and that relationship to, is the better chance you have of someone saying yes and improving your life. Had Danielle not said yes, Lori wouldn't have said yes, I wouldn't have said yes, and you wouldn't have helped 7 people in 12 hours. So it's not, try and focus on the wins, and then you'll just pick up momentum from that. If it's what you focus on is what you move forward on. So if someone says no, someone ghosts you, then that's what happened. But you're affecting someone's life when they do say yes. So I would just really try. I know it's like a mindset shift, and personal development will help with that, but it's just something I found really important.
And I would say when you're looking at that, yeah, everybody wants to hit Success Club and that sort of thing, but don't look at it as Success Club points. Look at it as lives you are changing. I think when you look at it that way, it will change for you, and it will change the way you feed into the people that you're asking to invest their trust in you. So whether they are getting a 3-month, a 6-month, 12-month, or a challenge pack, they are putting their trust in you to help change their life for the better. So when you start looking at it in that way, it will take your business to a different level, because you're not looking at numbers and money. You're looking at people and the impact that you can have in this world.
How many of
Okay,
y'all
so
are
who's fired up now? Who's like excited? Who's like, I'm gonna do the damn thing? Anybody?
How many of you guys are like utilizing your upline with your conversations? If you're struggling with a conversation, how many of you have screenshotted that or put your upline in the conversation with you? You guys, if you haven't read the book, Get Over Your Damn Self, that is the main reason why she is so successful, is because that is how she builds her team, and that is how she trains her team, is she gets them involved, and she gets involved in their beginning conversations so they can see the flow. So they can see how their leader would respond. Because I'm going to tell you right now, Danica had one of her friends that had just purchased Herbalife shakes a couple weeks ago, and she was like, well, she wants like the workouts and stuff, but she's already gotten her shakes. Freaking awesome. She can start off with our Energize and our Performance line and replace with the Shakeology, and then next month she can try out our Shakeology when her shakes are done. But you have to understand, as a newer coach, sometimes your first instinct is to say, oh, well, she already started Herbalife shakes, it's just not going to be feasible. But get your upline or get a coach involved in the conversation that might be a little bit more seasoned than you, because we might be able to turn that conversation around. And now she's going to sign up with a performance pack at the end of the month, and she's really freaking stoked about it. But as a new coach, sometimes it's threatening when they've already done something or they're already involved in something else, instead of finding the solution for them in a different way.
I also throw Heather into my conversations because I work a full-time job, and sometimes people will message me, and if they're especially interested, and I know if it's somebody who's like hot, I'll call it like hot, who like wants it, and I feel like I'm going to lose it if I don't do it immediately. I'll also throw Heather in there because she can continue answering questions and continuing some of the conversation while I'm either working or roughing and I don't have the availability to answer, to where she might be able to help out in some of those situations. So also, lean on your supports and things like that too, if you do have some time restraints or things like that, where you aren't able to constantly do something and you don't want to lose a prospect.
Post it in our new coach training, you guys. It's fine. If you can post it, like, that is what this training's about. If you can screenshot it and we can get some different perspectives, freaking heck yes. If we have a pod, if you're in a pod of new coaches, post your screenshot. I call my new coaches the new coach class of 2020. How are you guys together gonna create yourselves by the end of the year? It's just like your nursing class or like a new college class. How are you guys going to finish the end of the year? But we can't do it if we don't know what's going on behind the scenes. And a lot of that starts with the conversations you're having and the fears that are stopping you from going to that next level with that conversation.
And keep in mind, you guys, when you're in like a class at school, like she said, it's the class, like no one gets left behind. We're about to drag you. You're gonna figure this out, and we're gonna all graduate together. So think about it like that. Like if you see someone struggling, reach out. It's a lot sometimes for us to keep up with every single person. But one thing I hate when people are like, "You're too busy. I didn't want to reach out." We're never too busy, but sometimes we don't know what we don't know. Like we don't know if you need help if you don't tell us. But if you can partner up and like pot up with the people that you see in here, and if you see them not showing up, then reach out and be like, hey girl, we got to get this going. Where you at? Come on, let's do this together. We'll jump on a power hour. We'll get on a call late at night. Like, I can't tell you how many times that people have been like, hey, I'm really pushing for Success Club. Can we jump on and just sit on Zoom together so that I know that I'm working? Like, we've done that so many times. And if you guys need that, like, so happy to do that. But I don't know if you need it. And other times I don't want to be like, always pushing you and feeling like this is just a business tactic. It's a growth tactic. Like, we want you to be successful so much that we're willing to push you. But again, it's like, I never want someone to take it the wrong way, because sometimes they can feel like, why is she so pushy? She's just can't, so that's why I struggle with. But if we know, like, this is a no matter what, like, we want to make this work, all you have to do is say it. And then you're going to be like, why did I say that? She won't stop. But it's all in love. So I'm just excited. We want you guys to all get away from this with seeing income, with seeing success, with seeing lives change, because the moment someone reaches out to you and says, I did this because of you, you got to remember, they did it for them. You just helped to encourage and motivate and inspire them. And that's the coolest feeling to me, is to tell them, when you guys come to me and say, I couldn't have done it without you. No, you did this. You did that. Like, and I want you to get out of this saying, I did this. And we are here to help make sure that you get there, to give you all the tools, all the encouragement. And if you're feeling defeated, if you're feeling like, You just can't, if you don't know like what to do, then we need to know that. We need to know how we can help you. We need to get a new plan going. We need to get some ideas. And I don't know everything. And if I don't know, we'll reach out. We find ways to help you, but we will not let you just sit there and struggle. And so just know that we want you guys to have the most success that you can in this business. So we want you to be Emerald. We want you to get to Diamond. And then by the end of the year, like I want you guys all to have the goal of at least hitting 2-star. I want you to be able to start next year off like pushing and being powerful. I can give you some crazy bigger goals because I know it can work because I did them. I went from being an Emerald to a 5-star in 1 year. You can do that too. But I'm giving you a 2-star goal because I don't want to freak you out. We're going to take small steps. That is you. That is a controlled account. And that is a friend or someone running with you. And I absolutely know every single person. I'm looking at every person on here. I'm like, you could do that. You could do that. Oh, you could do 5 for sure. You could probably do a little more than 5. You could, oh yeah, girl, you got this. Like I'm looking at everyone and I don't see anyone that I would be like, yeah, I don't know. You're here, you're trying, you're putting an effort. And I know that you have the ability in you. One thing that I always remember someone told me is God planted these seeds and these desires in our heart, not because we couldn't do them, because he wouldn't give us all the tools that he wouldn't give us the desires if we didn't have the tools to get there. But we have to believe in it and know that it's also possible in order to achieve it. So if you're here and if that's on your heart and you're like, I want this, you have everything, but we need you to have the belief. We need you to have the commitment. We need you to be able to look at your kids and when they're coming to you one day and saying, God, I'm so appreciative of this job because I couldn't imagine where I would be without it. Because your life would be different. My life would be different. Like everyone's life would be different. And I worked so hard and I did this and we did this. And I want you to be able to do that for yourself. So I don't have anything else.
And y'all want to be, I went to New Leader Conference in February of this year and it was amazing. And that 2-star as your goal, you guys, New Leader Conference honestly was just such a game changer for me and how I see my business. And I didn't really get to do like a full call on it or talk about it a lot, but it really was like just seeing where your business can go and how to grow it and taking that 2-star step. It has made a huge change financially for me. Just because that's where you get to open up your second business center. And without freaking y'all out, that really is, it's game changing. I'm sitting here and I'll open up to you guys about it. I've been able to pay literally all of my bills with my Beachbody income, except for my mortgage. Every single bill this month has been paid from my Beachbody income. And when I told Lori, yesterday when I got my check and 2 years ago when I told her that I needed this to work because this was my plan, I didn't want to go back to work. I knew it was going to be hard. And there was going to be times that I just wanted to stop. And you have to be able to go to your upline and say, okay, like I want to quit. And she'll tell me all the time, girl, go, bye. Like wake up tomorrow and get back on it. And that's the type of upline that you want. You don't want somebody that's going to be like, no, you just need to like keep going. Like just keep, yes, I push through it. Yes, I still show up every day, but you need the upline that's going to give you positive reinforcement, but is also going to like call you out on your bullshit.
Can I tell y'all what happened yesterday? Can I tell them what I told you?
Yeah.
I don't know who this. So Heather messaged me and she said, why is something going on with somebody and not for me? What would you tell her to do? And I told her, I'd tell her to mind her motherfucking business. That's what I would tell her. Don't worry about what somebody else is doing. You worry about what you're doing. And then I said, bye. And that's it. And I say that because I'm showing you guys, like, if you will allow us to give you the tough love that you need, like, get out of your damn head. Quit worrying about what everybody else is doing. Like, worry about you. Worry about your business and what you're doing right because you're doing the right things. If you're trying, you're still doing the right things. It just may not be the timing for you yet for where you need it to be. So after that, I feel like she was fine.
And you have to remember, you guys, and I think for me, like, I look at my Success Club points. But I also have to remember I'm thriving with building leaders. And so my Success Club points might not be where I want them to be goal-wise, but I also have a team that is thriving. You can be a Success Club you can be a Success Club thriver and have Success Club 100 and not have a team that's building, or you can be somebody that has really, you know, a substantial amount of Success Club points, and that's where I am. Like I was at, you know, I'm at 14 for the month and I'm like, geez, why can't I be higher? But I also have a team that's freaking rocking it out right now. And so that made me take a step back and be like, okay, got it. I don't have to be the Success Club 50, 60, 70 to have a thriving building business. And that's what put me back in check, but that you want that type of coach. And I think, you know, I'm like that with Amanda. I'm very different with Chelsea because their coaching style, I have to coach them very, very differently. But you have to be there for them, and that's what you want out of your coach. But you also have to take that tough love, and if you freaking really want this, you've got to believe what your coach is telling you, and you have to really do it. But know that we want to see that success from you guys because it makes us feel good to know that you guys are succeeding and you're pushing towards your dreams too.
So anyway, if you want some tough love, you just got to say, hey, give me it when I need it. But if you're not that kind,
is it now?
I like it. I like when Danielle tells me the same thing. But
yeah, at 4 minutes.
Okay, so as we get off this call and you're like, what am I going to do now? What do I do? We want you to make sure that you've gone through the trainings in the new coach office. the coach online office. Like not just in the getting started right, but go through some of those other ones. Like give yourself like I know some people play music during the day. Some people watch music, Netflix. Like give yourself a challenge to say, okay, no Netflixing until I've done a training. Like no music until I've listened to at least 20 minutes of my personal development. No TV time until I have knocked out this hour of power hour. Like give yourself some challenges because those things are not income producing activities. You want to build a business, but you're focusing on the things that aren't doing that for you. So give yourself to say, I don't want you to give it up because like that sucks, but tell yourself, okay, I have to do X, Y, and Z before I get X, Y, and Z. And then it's almost exciting to see how quickly you can get it done to get your reward. You know what I'm saying? And then at some point you might be like, okay, I don't even care about the TV. I am loving these connections that I'm making right now. I'm going to do another hour. And there'll be times when I'll go sit down and I do this. I'll sit down in front of the TV and I say, I'm going to do this for 30 minutes and then I'm going to turn the TV on and watch movies and then I'll finish the rest. And the next thing I know, it's been 2 hours and I still never turn the TV on. I'm just sitting quietly on the couch. So take the time out today or over the weekend to really kind of challenge yourself to say, I'm going to knock these things out. Really give a good look at where you're at on your workout program, on your nutrition. Do you need to dial it in? And I don't want anyone to feel frustrated because right now it's hard. And if you are not mentally there to truly commit to it, I want you have to also let us know that because I don't want this to make you feel bad. But I want you to know that by you committing is also going to help other people commit to. And if you need to do that recommitment, I want you to share that on your social media. Tell them I want to be, more accountable. I need the help. So I'm going to share it here. So we're going to recommit to this on Monday because it's now the weekend. And if anybody wants to jump in, we have a group. You're welcome to join. And you can make it simply that casual. And then start to create that list. You don't have to write it down. And when we say create a list, I don't necessarily always mean you have to write it down, but start making whether you've saved it with flags, you've created collections in your Instagram, maybe you have written it down, maybe it's just like going through message pods, but creating that funnel system, because if you don't have anybody to invite, the problem is not the invitations, it's that you don't have anyone in that funnel and to be able to invite. So find ways to really kind of connect. But if you actually can take the time to write down a list, think of everyone. And if they have said no, reach out to them and be like, hey, do you have any referrals? I have a new group. I'm getting so much feedback about how much people need this right now. So if you have anyone that you think this would be great for, please let me know. I'd be happy to help them. And it could be something that simple. But take the time out to do that over the weekend. And then Monday, be ready. Like, know that you are prepared. Know that we're going to go into this learning some more of the social media stuff and the training and really getting you going towards seeing the most success. But you have to take the action. They say knowledge is power, but I don't believe that. Taking the action on the knowledge, applied knowledge is power. And when you can take the things that you've learned and start applying that, you're going to see the success in your business. The more you amp it up, the more that you do it, you know, the more reward you'll see quicker. So that's all I got.
Can y'all can everybody get on their video? Is that possible?
Oh yeah, I wanted to take a
And then I just posted in the new in the Biz Babes mentorship to post your IG handles so we can tag everybody and then we have everybody's stuff.
Okay, I'm gonna do a boomerang. Y'all ready? Okay, 1, 2, 3. Amy, you didn't move. It's okay. Y'all are great. Okay, so I'm going to say this. I will post it in the group. If you want to, I'll try to tag. You can only tag 10 people at a time, and that's just Boo of Instagram. But that way you can take this if you need to get one and reuse it. And then just put on there, like, how cool is it you get a midday talk? And I hope you come off of this, like, feeling inspired and encouraged and, like, ready to do things because we want to help you get there too, so.
And I'm going to go ahead, you guys, I am finishing it up today to put everything into the units. So if you have gotten behind, the unit sections on the left-hand side of the group, literally just go through, welcome, day 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It'll all be there. It'll all be in order. And then that way you can catch up and you can just comment and post, continuing to do those things underneath, you know, in the videos or whatnot. And you have 2 days to get caught up before we start week 2. And next week is social media training. And I've actually taught Lori some things this week and Morgan some new things this week. And so I've kept those videos and I will hopefully, you know, post those, but it'll be fun next week. But don't get sucked into all the fluff. Just take bits and pieces of it and still keep doing week 1 over and over and over again. Cool?
Oh, I was gonna say one thing. So I don't care who you are. I have been in this business for a while. I'm a diamond coach. Everybody should be listening to these videos and typing something in those comment boxes. I don't care who you are, because there is something that you can take away. Don't be prideful. Don't do anything like that. Show up, do it. If you've been a coach for, you know, a year, whatever, and you've been working the business, you still need to do the assignments because there's always something you can learn. There's always something you can implement, always something. So I will call you out if I know that you've been in this for a while and I'm not seeing you in there, okay? Because I know some of you are. So show up, do the work, because I know Heather, Lori, and Megan, and I know Amanda and I have also worked together with this. I've done a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And so you guys, I mean, it kind of gets frustrating sometimes when nobody says anything. So make sure you are showing up. If you need personal development, there is also the Boss Babes personal development group. I will admit I'm 2 days behind, but the comment number has been dwindling as well in there. So if you need accountability for your personal development, hop in there and we can also get everybody back on track with that too. Sorry, that's my soapbox for the day.
Well, I'm glad somebody did it because it's true. We are doing this for you guys. And when you committed to this group, you committed to showing up and doing it. So, but yes, I will go ahead and I'll share the Boss Babes book club, or Chelsea can. And then that way you guys, the book that we're doing right now is Get Out of Your Own Way by Dave Hollis. And it's freaking bomb. Like, I think I really like it more than Rachel Hollis's book, to be honest. So I did say that, but his perspective is amazing, and it's a guy's perspective, but he owns his shit. He owns how he was and how he has turned, like what he's turned into, and it's amazing, and it's a super easy read. It's not like 2 hours of your day. You can listen or read it in like 10 minutes per chapter, and the nuggets are amazing. So personal development, in my opinion, you guys, is number 1 in your vital behaviors. Before anything else, you need to get your mind right before you get your body right. Because if your mind's not right, you can get the nicest body in the world and you're never going to love it. because mentally you're not there. So if you haven't done personal development, draw a line in the sand and make today your day one with your personal development and just do it. I'm going to end on that. Does anybody else have anything else to say? This has been recorded and it will be under day 5. So you guys can go back and listen to it, take some nuggets, do whatever you want. It'll be on YouTube. So I will convert that over. I'm still doing YouTube. I haven't switched to the Vimeo. I don't have a big account. So I'm just going to continue on YouTube, and I'll get the link and share it in there as soon as this call has been downloaded to my computer, guys. I'm so glad y'all were here, and have a wonderful weekend. Bye.